In Oregon
and every state,
the people say,
hell no to hate.
In Oregon
And every state,
the people say,
hell no to hate. Equal rights now. Equal rights now. We demand our equal rights. Gay, straight, black, white. We demand our equal rights. We demand our equal rights.
6, 7, 8.
Stop the lies, stop the hate.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Love is what we're fighting for.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the lies, stop the hate.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Stop the lies, stop the hate.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Love is what we're fighting for.
Hey Obama, don't you see?
We demand equality.
Hey Obama, don't you see?
We demand equality. We demand equality. We demand equality. We demand equality.
Separate is what?
Not equal.
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 Equal rights.
Now.
Equal rights. Yeah. Bigotry.
Tear it down.
Whole damn system.
Tear it down.
Don't tell.
Tear it down. Tear it down.
Bigotry.
Tear it down.
Tell me what you want, what you really want.
Justice.
Tell me what you need,
What you really need. Justice.
Tell me what you want, what you really want.
Justice.
LGBT.
We demand equality.
LGBT.
We demand equality. We demand equality. We demand equality. We demand our civil rights. We demand our civil rights. We tell them.
Go to hell.
We can say don't ask, don't tell. We tell them. Go to hell. Go to hell. All is what we're fighting for.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the lies, stop the hate. 6, 7, 8. Stop the lies, stop the hate.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Love is what we're fighting for.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the lies, stop the hate.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Love is what we're fighting for.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the lies, stop the hate.
1.
Now! Equality! Now! Equality! Now!
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop the lies, stop the hate.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Love is what we're fighting for.
5, 6, 7, 8. They get say don't ask, don't tell.
We tell them to go to hell.
They get say don't ask, don't tell.
We tell them to go to hell.
They get say don't ask, don't tell.
We tell them to go to hell.
Big and say don't ask, don't tell.
We tell them to go to hell.
Big and say don't ask, don't tell.
We tell them to go to hell.
Woohoo!
We tell them to go to hell.
Don't you see?
We demand equality.
They don't want to know the truth.
We demand equality.
They stand out, don't you see?
We demand equality.
They stand out, don't you see?
We demand equality.
They stand out, don't you see?
We demand equality.
Separate what?
Not equal.
Separate what?
Not equal. Not equal. Not equal.
Thank you all so much for coming out to the Oregon Equality March. So I'm from the Portland Equal Rights Coalition. And I'm here to recruit you. To recruit you to fight for equal rights for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, or whatever people to fight for equal rights. As a socialist, I believe no one deserves unequal treatment. I believe all human beings should be treated with respect and dignity, the way that we should be born into society. Today we marched because homophobia and homophobic laws deny us as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, gender variant, or however you define yourself. These laws deny us the freedom to live and love equally. We know separate is not equal. We've known that for a long time now. In Oregon, Prop 36 signed into law that marriage is only between a man and a woman. But even if we got rid of that, there are still thousands of rights that are denied by the federal gay marriage ban, otherwise known as the Defense of Marriage Act. I don't think it's a defense though. Okay, the largest employer in the US, the military, employing 2 million plus people, openly discriminates and harbors homophobia because of don't ask, don't tell. We are still not protected in our workplaces in over 30 states. This is why we need a federal Employment Non-Discrimination Act that includes transgender and trans-variant people, or gender variant, sorry.
I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out and marching for full federal equality under the law. 2 weeks ago this weekend, nearly 200,000 of us gathered in our nation's capital for one of the largest grassroots protests in our movement's history. We may have come from different places, we may have been of different backgrounds, but despite those differences, despite that diversity, we stood united with one voice and with one single demand: full federal equality under the law for all Americans. No excuses and no compromises. For too long has our community been reduced to second-class citizens. For too long have we watched as our rights are voted away during every election. For too long have religious fundamentalists waged their campaign of hate and deceit amongst us, poisoning the minds of the young and persuading the minds of others in our society that some people just aren't worthy of civil rights. This dangerous ideology is absorbed by extreme elements of the right wing, who use it and religion as a bludgeon with which to carry out its hate. And although some Democrats may not have the spine to fight them, this vicious propaganda must be met with forceful truth and compassion. For this can no longer go unchallenged, and it can no longer go unchecked.
Like many LGBT youth and LGBT homeless youth, or Mormon homeless youth, when my family found out that I was gay, they kicked me out. I was born and raised in Oregon, in a small city named Staten, and when I was kicked out, I moved to Portland, the big city, to where I was homeless for 3 months. And thankfully, Portland has some resources for the homeless youth. I got into a homeless youth shelter. They helped me find a job and housing, so I was able to better myself and didn't have to do things that a lot of homeless youth have to do. A lot of states don't have this. Utah, in fact, has a resource center that closes at 10 p.m. to where they kick all the youth out onto the street, to where they have to sleep on the street, to where they have to beg for money, to where they have to beg for food. We must fight for our rights and for the rights of homeless youth everywhere, and demand that there are services for everybody to where they can live up to their full potential and be the member in society that they want to be.
What I really want to do today is just ask you to not only come out of the closet in your communities as GLBTQI, but I really think it's imperative now in this time of pretty oppressed times. Like, it's pretty bad, you guys know it. I really think we all need to come out of the closet to our families and friends as activists. That's right! And just really, really contemplate what it means to be an activist. It's not about just giving a buck, it's not about signing a petition, it's about organizing together. That's how this kind of stuff happens, and it needs to keep happening.
The Stonewall Rebellion was 40 years ago. People have been fighting for gay civil rights, LGBT civil rights way before that. We can wait no longer. We have to push for full equality now.
We've come a long way. We still have a long way to go, but we've come a long way, and I think that we definitely can pat ourselves on the back for not refusing to remain silent any longer, and actually inspiring more people to refuse to remain silent any longer.
So I want to really encourage people to come and get the theory and the history we need, and then go out into the struggle and use it to fight back against these bigoted laws and get our rights for everyone.
In the 21st century, one has to stop and ask themselves why these things still stand. One has to ask themselves why the Defense of Marriage Act, one of the most discriminatory federal laws in our nation's history, still stands. Why? Why in this nation are our civil rights being put up to a vote in states like Maine in 2 weeks, stripped away in liberal California, and banned in other states? We should ask why gay and lesbian soldiers are asked to fight and die for a country that relegates them to second-class citizens, only to expel them when their sexual orientation is known.
Why?
We should ask why 12 out of 50 states ban employment discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity.
Why?
And last but not least, one has to ask themselves why bullying and violence is allowed to go unabated in our nation's schools, and why certain families cling to intolerance and ignorance, kicking their children out in the streets only to be left homeless.
Why?
So who embraces these lost children when they have no place to go? Who fights for their cause?
We do.
So I am making a direct appeal not only to you who stand here today, but to our entire community. If we are to realize our liberation in this new century, then we must seize political power. Within our community, we must join together in our common interests: transgendered and bisexual, gay and lesbian, black and white, religious and atheist, rich and the poor, weak and the strong. We, as members of the LGBTQI community, must join together and seize this collective power. Because our opponents are well organized, they are well financed, and their network of hate spans every corner of this nation. This is why our organization was created, and this is why we stand here today. So join us, everyone. Sign our email list, join our group, attend our strategy meetings, bring new ideas to the table. Help us organize and grow across the state so that we can collaborate with other groups across this nation. We are not going to wait for time to slowly pass us by for our civil rights. And we will not wait for President Obama to decide when we are important enough to fight for. So you see, Portland, we have a role to play in all of this. If we can feel the energy and excitement of today, then we can see the potential of what can be if we all come together despite our differences. So let us be that example. Let us set the precedent for what can happen in this world when people work together to accomplish great things. Thank you very much, everyone.
Obama says he's on our side, but he's made no moves to show this.
Yes.
He has promised the repeal of the Defense of Marriage Act and of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He has also promised to pass an Employee Non-Discrimination Act, including transgender people. And he said the word transgender. He's the first president in history to do that. But we, the people, must hold him to his promises. As he said, change doesn't come from the White House, it comes to the White House.
That's right.
Because we have been waiting too long for politicians to grant us equality. To the Gay Liberation Front. And they have been ignoring us through the 1980s, where we were dying of AIDS. And they were ignoring us and blaming it on our ways, on our choice of loving people in the same sex. They've been ignoring us all too long, and it's time for like he was ashamed of it, but I don't think that he was. We do not have time to wait any longer. Martin Luther King wrote in his letter from a Birmingham jail, "For years now, I have learned the word wait. It rings in every ear of every Negro with a piercing familiarity. This wait has almost always meant never. We must come to see with one of our distinguished jurists that justice too long delayed is justice denied."
That's right.
I believe Dr. King's words are true for our struggle today. We have already waited too long, and too many people have died because of this or have been denied their rights. Now it is time for us LGBTQ people to stand up for ourselves and demand respect and equality in the eyes of the law. We, the Portland Equal Rights Coalition, are committed to demanding equal rights now, not later in the some not-so-distant future. We are also committed to pressuring politicians